Warning, this video is not targeted to kids and may be inappropriate to younger audiences. Your discretion is advised.
Hello, dudes and dudettes. It's your favorite Reacher Gamer X17 here, and I am back once again for another Subnautica Let's Explore episode. Today we'll be exploring the Aurora. Now, this is technically considered a biome within standards of the official game, just the fact that it has an entirely different atmosphere, enemies, including a good surface amount of area that allows you to explore. And because of this, that's exactly why this is considered a Let's Explore, including since the fact that literally it wouldn't be fair if I didn't explore it. Anywho, moving along. Now, the Aurora. The Aurora is of course a ship that's owned by the Altera Transgov Corporation. Altera sent this ship out as its primary goal to create another phase gate within a far sector of a certain galaxy, one of which is where we ended up hovering a little close to planet 4546b. That's, of course, being our secondary mission, which is to find any remains, survivors, and or evidence of the Degassi crew members that we find throughout the adventure of Subnautica. Now, other than that, there is actually a bit of a theory of the actual area that's the Aurora is currently on. The theory is that the Aurora actually landed on the third island of this general area, which is the volcanic crater. Reason of this is because of the signs of the signs of landmass, specifically risen lands along the entirety of the side of the Aurora, and then on top of that, a lot of the land, or basically the ground level of the sea that is within around the area of the Aurora, seems to be higher than any other area, other than, of course, the safe shallows. And lastly, of course, the last theory that I can mention is, of course, the fact that the Aurora may have landed on the third, or not necessarily third, but basically another Degassi base. That, of course, being because during this cinematic trailer of Subnautica, we see one of the last three remaining Degassi crewmates, Bart, the son of Paul, I believe. There, yeah. He is shown alive, and of course, throughout the abandoned PDAs, we see or we hear that he is in fact alive. And through that process, he ended up making a base, and eventually died from the Carar bacteria infection. And basically, since we can't find that base, the theory is, of course, the Aurora crushed it. Now, as of course I enter more into the front of the thing, luckily I didn't, absolutely get them destroyed by, Reaper Leviathans. Up in front of the Aurora's exposed area, I guess I can call it, which is the only exposed area, including entrance, yes, there is a possibility that the Reaper Leviathans can spawn within this general area, but most typically it won't. They won't. However, you could also bait one to come closer to you. Now, in the official, way of how to enter into the Aurora, there's only two ways. One of them has been really used quite often, and another one not so used is the fact that it requires a bit more. Now then, as we aboard the Aurora, which I'm surprised we even managed to do this, is the fact that I literally just crossed into dangerous territory. Anywho, and like I said, as we aboard the Aurora, a few bits of information that is needed to be known is that the Aurora has crates randomly throughout the entirety of the ship, which will have, as seen here, disinfected water, nutrient blocks, battery cells, batteries, power cells, and occasionally it will also have fire extinguishers. Other than that, you'll find these same items randomly throughout the Aurora, including a few decorative items, some abandoned PDAs, and of course data terminals. Now, the first entrance here will of course have its own barricades, and which I briefly mentioned, you have to clear out. Oh look, another fire extinguisher. That you have to clear out using the propulsion cannon. Now, using of course the fire extinguisher or a fire extinguisher that you have prepped in hand, get rid of the fire, go through it as I just did, but since I'm in creative mode I could easily just do it. And you'll be here within this laboratory. Sadly, I don't remember the password, but it's another extended area where you can get some other abandoned PDAs, which are lore based, including what's it called? A few decorative items. Now, through this sealed door is a bit of a strange room that leads to a bit of an opening, just a really big room that has only one data terminal, which if I'm not mistaken is the black box of the Aurora. Let's see here. Yep, this is it. I don't really know what the room is, but here's the data terminal and the black box Aurora. Now, going up here through the doorway, just right here, and a small opening right over here will lead you through a small little tunnel of basically a huge maze of pipes and networks systems that I don't really know what it could be, which will of course lead you into the prawn bay. Now here in the prawn bay you have the possibility of scanning all fragments needed in order to build yourself a prawn suit, at least to get the blueprint. Now there's two ways to, and yeah, you'll also get a hold of one of these things, what are they called? Dialogues, there you go. Now anywho, you can go up through to the living quarters in one of two different ways, or technically three. One way is of course just legit parkouring up this little rail here, which, yeah, simple as that. Save you time and effort. Or the other way is just to use a propulsion cannon and move stuff around. Oh, and of course just parkour it, jumping on boxes. So yeah, there's always that in case you're ever interested. And the other way is a bit of a fun one that I'll show you on a little bit. Just trying to move some of these things so that I can actually show you all that's possible to do so, even though I'm kind of doing a terrible job at it. Alright, anywho. Just ignore that. There was my poor attempt of trying to show you the other way, which is to just fly. I like to use these things because, you know, you have yourself an actual way to get into the thing by being somewhat secured. And there you go. Just a little fun. You can do this all over the place, except for underwater, of course, so don't even try. Now going through here, you got automatically two different entrances, which in the living quarters, there you go. There's the supply closet, or supply room, whatever you want to call it, which will give you a random battery, a bunch of nutrient blocks, and a lot of water bottles, which will come in handy. Which I like to farm this place every now and then. Right across from it is the cafeteria, which will give you a lot of decorative items, a few other necessities, a random abandoned PDA for lore bits, of course a fire extinguisher, and a medkit. Yep, just a medkit. Other than that, all in all, that's about it. Going further down into the living quarters, there's two doors which are blocked off. In the sense that you can't open them, and down here in the split way, you can go in one of two different ways. The way that I'm going leads to cabin 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, one of them's in a blaze of glory, the other one isn't automatically, and all these rooms will just have some scannables, such as this bench, a few beds, and some decorative items, an abandoned PDA, batteries, nutrient blocks, power cells. There we go. And disinfected water. I believe I said that, right? Water, nutrient blocks, batteries, power cells. Oh, maybe even med kit as well. As for fire extinguishers, I don't really think so. But yeah, like I said, it's usually the same with this side. Now on the other side, it is technically the same. It just has two locked doors. That of course being cabin 1 and the captain's quarters. Now these two will give you some lore bits, and that's really about it. Also, the captain's quarters will also have the blueprints for the Neptune launch for you to escape. And yeah, that's about it. But that comes out later on in the game, when you of course receive a thing. What's it called? Oh look, you could move the thing. That's what I was about. Okay. Anywho, you could get a hold of the blueprint after receiving a pre-recorded message, I believe. Yes, pre-recorded message. Or if you just memorize the code, just walk on in and get it. Also, it has a baseball cap, I believe, if not, it's in one of the other rooms, an Aurora sculpture, and I think the last thing is a dinosaur, basically. It's supposed to be a reference to another game of the same developers, but I can't remember. Now then, with that done and out of the way, I am going to switch back to the very front to show you the next. And here we are. Now, as you can clearly see, we are at the very beginning. So from here, obviously, as the path that the majority of people will take, especially me when I did my run of Subnautica. You'll typically go up this ramp, which will have a bunch of falling debris. Of course, your common cave crawlers, as you see, those pesky little things. Of course, you'll find random crates here and there that'll have something of use down the line, or right then and there. Really, who knows? It really just depends on how the game likes to treat you. By going, of course, through the whatever you call it, ramp, I guess, you'll come through this narrow bridge, if you can call it that way, avoid and dodge every single little disaster that's trying to kill you, and walk towards the flaming door, which you can easily squeeze past through, like so. Now down here you'll end up coming across a fork, one leading to the cargo bay 3. Oh look, a propulsion cannon fragment alongside an abandoned PDA. Anywho, you'll come across a split way, which will give you cargo bay 3 and the administration. We'll be going down to the administration, which you'll need a fire extinguisher to go through. By going through, you'll get data terminals, some decorative items, a random battery, and an abandoned PDA, as I just saw right there. So yeah, oh, note to self, yeah, you're gonna need this if you don't know the password for the cargo bay. Anywho, the cargo bay has two different ways to get through. Either one, parkour it like I did during my run of Subnautica, or just legit using the propulsion cannon to move everything out of the way. Yeah, as seen right here, I can easily just walk over it and on top of it and whatnot. Doesn't really matter. And of course I'm just moving stuff out the way. Anywho, going down this hallway into or towards cargo bay 3, you'll need to unlock the code, which I already had apparently. Okay, and you'll come across this flaming place. Watch out for falling debris in certain areas. You'll even be able to scan a spot lamp I just passed, an abandoned PDA, and some crates here and there to obtain. Down here is, I think, the loading area or something, or the lowering platform, which in this water there is infested with these tiny little things called bleeders, which is somewhere right there. There we go. This one's infected too. Yeah, these suckers still a pain to go through. Anywho, let's get this thing out of the way. Now then, down here you'll come across the drive room, Seamoth Bay, and the Prawn Bay, I think, down there. I can't really remember the exact name. But yeah, that's... Well, we're going to be exploring that anyway in a little bit. Anywho, by going down towards the drive room, you'll come across this little fiery area. As always, you're going to need a fire extinguisher to get through it, which will lead you to the engine, basically, where you'll find a random module for the Seamoth. Wait, no, not the Seamoth, the Cyclops. That could be ranging from the... It's really the simple one, like the crushing depth and the engine efficiency. Like right here. Other than that, though... Oh, hey, I didn't know I could grab it. That's so cool. Anywho, the engine, or the drive room, will have 12 in total brakes, and they'll be all over the place, and down in the water will of course have bleeders as well. Now then, ignoring that for a second and moving on down, back here we're going to the Seamoth Bay. Now you're going to need a repair tool, which I luckily have, and as soon as we repair this, any second now, there we go. You now have access, which will give you a Seamoth fragment automatically. Another module for the Seamoth, or just both the Seamoth and Prawn suit. In this case, it is the crush depth. Nice. Of course, an abandoned PDA, which is just more lore based, some scannables, and that's really about it. Now then, going all the way down to the other side, you'll come across the Prawn Bay, which is of course blocked off by a sealed door, as it would. Come on now. If I'm not mistaken, which I'm pretty sure I'm not, right past through this door will lead you straight to the locker room, if you can call it. No, not like the school locker room where everything's a mess. Instead, it's just the Aurora crashed locker room, which will give you abandoned PDAs, another abandoned PDA, some scannable items here and there, a random med kit, and I think a battery and a nutrient block, or really just anything that I've said in multiple times beforehand. Like I said, a battery. And right up after that is a doorway that will lead, which will lead to the Prawn Bay, which you'll need to repair this little wiring thing. I think you might need to put out the fire just in case you don't get burned, but I can't really find out right now due to the fact I'm not being burned alive. And here we are. We have now made it to the Prawn Bay, which basically loops up all around throughout the first section that I showed you. I think. Yeah, basically. And that's really about it. So yeah, that is the entirety of the Aurora, basically showing you both entrances of entering, a little bit of what it has and what you might come across, including a bit of a look all around the Aurora, and looking basically at every single aspect that I possibly can show you that is of interest. Anything else is really just up for exploration, just to know every single nook and cranny. And without further ado, I shall end off this episode. So thank you everyone for joining me in this grand adventure of Subnautica Let's Explore. And yeah, this has been one heck of a journey. And as I try to reach back, all I'm gonna have to say is goodbye.